Um, we're going to go on to some skills that will help you increase your EI. And one of them is to be able to recognize feelings in yourself and in others. This, I don't know if any of you have seen this before, but it's a feeling chart with, really helpful vocabulary to be able to help you perceive your own emotions. Um, there has been research done. One place that did it was at UCLA, where they had participants kind of be triggered with certain emotions. So they would make, experimental participants feel angry or anxious at one point. And what they did was they scanned their brains. And when we're having an emotional response to something, our emotional brains will light up, will fire. When that happened, they asked the participants to verbalize how they felt. So they would give like them a feeling chart like this and ask like, how are you feeling? Can you put that into words? And when they did that, using language is part of your cognitive brain. When they use their cognitive brain to name how they felt, said things like, oh, I feel anxious, or oh, I feel inferior. They found that the emotional, the activity and the emotional part of the brain kind of calmed down instantly. So one of the best ways you can deal with especially unpleasant emotions is to name them, to say out loud, like go to a chart like this, I feel terrified, or I feel disrespected, or pleasant emotions too, I feel excited, or I feel hopeful. And that helps just like name the feeling. When I first saw this, I printed this out and I put it on my fridge too, and I practiced this skill and I found it to be very helpful. So yeah, one excellent tool. I like this chart as well because it, shows us the bodily responses we can get to certain emotions, because emotions, they manifest themselves a lot in physical kind of, uh, representation. So if you start feeling joy, you might, feel this burst of energy. When you feel mad, you might, loud words might start coming out of your mouth, right? So this is important to know because again, you want to increase your emotional awareness, and by paying attention to your body, that really helps to increase that awareness around your feelings. Okay. And when we're done today, I can send you my slides so you can have access to these charts. Okay, we're going to go on to this idea of initial emotions versus reactions to emotions. So what are initial emotions? The initial emotion is a feeling that first comes up that alerts you to something that may or may not be wrong or important. So it's the first feeling that comes up. For example, let's say you're driving, someone cuts you off like out of nowhere, and you feel anger. That anger you suddenly feel is an emotional initial emotion, okay? And this emotion, it just happens. It's almost biological, like a rash, right? You don't choose to be angry. You don't, yeah, and it's very difficult to stop. It's difficult to stop being angry in that scenario. So that's initial emotion. What is reaction to emotion? It's any kind of thought, feeling, and or behavior that follows the initial emotion. So, for example, let's come up with a thought, a cognitive reaction. Let's say I'm feeling sad today, okay? And after I recognize I'm feeling sad, I have a thought of it's not okay for me to be sad. Okay. Maybe I grew up being, punished for crying or whatever. I might have a thought that says, you know what, it's not okay to be sad, or it's weak to be sad. Okay. That's a cognitive reaction to the initial emotion of sadness. And a reaction can be emotional as well. When if you've ever kind of done any kind of presentation or public speaking, when you start noticing yourself feeling anxious, like you notice your voice shaking, that can lead to more anxiety, okay? And then the secondary anxiety that comes after The voice shaking will be an emotional reaction to the initial anxiety. It can be behavioral. So when you start feeling anxious, you want to avoid. That avoidance is a reaction to the anxiety, the initial anxiety. Okay. So what we find that people just naturally do, I do this too, is we focus a lot on the reaction to the emotion rather than the initial emotion itself. But that is problematic because that's pretty unhelpful. Why is it unhelpful? It prevents the initial emotion to follow its natural course. Okay, I'm going to show you the next slide. So emotions have this like natural course, this kind of wave that they follow. So if you imagine feelings across time, and intensity, as time passes, let's say you start feeling anxious about something or you're worried, you will experience your anxiety kind of rise. And if you just let it be without, doing anything about it, your anxiety will hit its peak, but it will come down once it hits its peak, because it's the law of life that whatever goes up must come down. Okay. So like it says here, it'll eventually run its course and pass without you doing anything at all. But what happens a lot of the times is you will find your anxiety rise, and then you'll have a reaction to that, such as like, oh, this is scary, or I shouldn't feel anxious, right? Or something's wrong, okay? And, maybe we notice that at this intensity level, and what we do is like we run away from the anxiety. We're like, oh, I don't like how this feels. I'll numb myself with Netflix or, alcohol or whatever. And we try to numb the feeling and we run away. But what that does is it leaves the anxiety at this very uncomfortable intensity, and it actually plateaus and lasts longer. And you have this anxiety for hours or days or maybe even weeks. And you're living life like this, like anxious, right? And that's pretty uncomfortable. So, if you had just learned how to ride the wave, it would have come and gone. But we're really not used to doing that. I don't think we're taught enough how to deal with emotions. So what we do is we run away. So going back to the previous slide, by focusing on the reaction, it prevents the initial emotion to follow this natural course. Also leads to missed opportunities, right? Again, to see the emotion pass on their own and to learn and act on what the emotions are telling us, because emotions are important pieces of data, right? So when that person cut you off in traffic, it's like that anger is telling you something is wrong, right? Something was violated. So emotions are important pieces of data. So what do you want to do instead of focusing on the reaction? I highly encourage you to, from today, try to focus your energy on the initial emotion, which was the primary problem, right? Your sadness, your anger, your anxiety. That's the problem you've got to solve, not the reaction to the emotion. And by doing that, it allows you to respond adaptively to when you have that emotion again. It allows you to stop the negative cycle of the reaction, okay? And you learn how to allow emotions to come and go and take their natural course. Any questions about this?